we're ready to bring you the NBA on 2K Sports. Now a chance to check out our starting lineups. First for Los Angeles, Nash and Bryant in the backcourt. And holding down the middle out of Central Michigan University, the skilled and ambidextrous 7-footer, Chris Kaman. Then there's Nick Young, and it's Gasol at the 4. And for Denver, Lawson and Fournier man the backcourt. And in the middle, the long-bodied JaVale McGee. Absolutely elastic. Then there's Gallinari, and it's Fareed in at the 4 slot. Now, here is Young. Double dishes to Kaman. That's in, coming off an assist by Kobe. Kaman's got the opening field goal of the game for the Lakers.
That was some skill there. Nice use of the bounce pass.
Everybody knows how brutal the Western Conference can be, and part of the reason the Lakers were able to make it to the playoffs is because they were above 500 in the West, which is pretty impressive.
Wilson Chandler's checked in for Denver. So it's Denver now. And Gallinari kicks to McGee. Here's Fareed. No good. And the Lakers take it the other way. Well, going back to the Lakers in the West, they would end with a 28-24 record, Steve, against the rest of the conference. That record falling right in line where they finished in relation to the rest of the West.
Well, and that record was really the big reason that they were able to catch up to Utah and end up passing them for the last playoff spot. And, Laker fans might not be happy with how quickly they exited the postseason, getting swept by the Spurs, but they did make a good push at the end of the season just to get in. And he should thank the defense for those 2 points. Really, nobody paid him any mind there.
Clark, some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
Still looking for that first 2. 0-4 now.
Guys, it seemed to be a great fit initially in Denver with McGee and the Nuggets. But we had a bit of a wake-up call from George Karl last season when Karl said of McGee, lazy and crazy isn't going to make it work.
For 3, Kobe. The Lakers rebound. Lakers working the ball around now. Down low. Goes up with it again. Rebounded by Ty Lawson. And with JaVale McGee, his then coach Karl said he's a tremendous talent. Karl just wants him to be more fundamentally sound.
Well, he said it on multiple occasions, and one of the reasons McGee never got into the starting lineup under Karl was that he was too sporadic with his effort. He'd make a spectacular play and then turn it around and make a bad one. So he needs consistency in his game.
And the official signaled the backcourt violation. Not very careful there. Fournier is checked in for Kenneth Fareed. Lakers have gone 50% from the field, hitting 3 of 6 since the opening tip. Kobe attacking. Foul call. Looked like the D didn't get there in time, and he'll shoot free throws.
Last year, Kobe Bryant became the youngest player ever to get to 30,000 points in an NBA career. What an accomplishment. It just goes to show what a special talent he has been ever since he arrived in this league.
The first free throw is good. And, Steve, you talk about Kobe with 30,000 points. He's one of 5 players, certainly in NBA history, to score that many in a career. And, Clark, when you think about Kobe in the landscape of the NBA and all the great players they've had, truly amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And part of me wants to think that if he really wanted the all-time scoring crown, he might be able to get there. But for him, as he said, it's all about rings and playing at the highest level.
The 15-footer. Here's Young, and so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
The offense is getting right to the rim, but at least they saved the layup with the foul.
That's old school basketball rules. I mean, at the end of the day, no easy layup. Earn it from the line.
And that one falls for Young.
It seems to me Nick Young is a perfect guy to have coming off the bench because he's a volume shooter and scorer who can get hot in a hurry. But I think his best role is to play him kind of in a Jamal Crawford type role.
And so Young nails them both. Going back to Nick Young, Clark, mostly a score.
He sure is, Kevin, an athletic 6'7" wing. I don't think there's any reason he can't be a plus rebounder and defender, but it's clear that his focus primarily has been on the offensive end.
Timeout is called. First. First quarter of ball, almost 2.5 minutes in.
Well, I tell you what, the Nuggets turned that Pepsi Center into their own personal fortress last season. Had the best record at home in the league. Nobody could run with them when the game was played at the Pepsi Center.
Now, here is Lawson. He kicks to Fournier. Just 4 to shoot. Here's McGee. And the shot no good, a bit short.
Trying to get off the schneid here, 0 for 5. What's a schneid, by the way, Clark?
In that home record of the Nuggets you mentioned, Clark, 38-3. Been a long time since someone has been able to put up a home record like that, Steve. Pretty impressive.
Well, it's always been difficult for teams to go to Denver and play at high altitude. And then you factor in all the back-to-backs and the fact that the airport is a long way from Denver. They're in a different time zone than a lot of teams in the West. So throw all that stuff together, and it's tough to roll in there, arrive 3 or 4 in the morning, and try to win the next night. Denver really taking advantage of their geographical area.
Now McGee, after the missed 3 from Young. That's going to be over and back. Not watching for the line that time.
They've got to get their heads into this game. They're giving the ball away far too easily.
That's turnover number 3, not the way you want to start the game.
And the Lakers making a change here. Hill's checked in. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Hey, Kevin. Well, Mike D'Antoni had a few minutes for me. He knows they're up against a team that plays best when they're getting to the rim. He told me that their #1 concern is going to be sliding over to help on any drives and closing up any lanes to the hoop as quickly as possible. Good rotation is key, guys.
Thanks again, Doris. Here's Lawson after Jordan Hill's bucket. Lawson with it. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Clock at 6. McGee can't connect from 13 feet out.
This is really ugly, guys. I mean, he can't get anything to go.
It's Nash with the drive. Gasol's shot is good.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Now, you got to make a defensive adjustment here, Clark. Time to collapse inside, force the ball back out in the perimeter, make them beat you from long range.
And some changes here for the Lakers. Wesley Johnson's checked in for Young, and Steve Blake is subbed in for Kobe. .132 left to play in the first. Farmar passes to Blake. The dish to Hill. Farmar. Good. The assist goes to Hill.
What a start they've gotten off to. A big lead for them, and we're not even out of the first quarter yet.
And it's not just their hot offense here. I mean, they're playing very strong defense too, guys. You know, a team's rebounding is one of the great measures of its energy, and theirs has been terrific in the first quarter.
Yep, they were ready to go right from the opening tip.
Miller with the ball. Now defended by Farmar. McGee. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
You know, it seems that McGee has been on the highlight reel night after night since the day he got into this league. The incredible leaping ability, the length, the athleticism, really a combination that hardly any big men in the league have.
Yeah, he really shows a lot of energy, doesn't he? He really likes sending shots into the stands. He tries to block balls so hard that I worry the ball will pop at times. I mean, the smack of his hand against the ball is violent. It just doesn't make a soft noise. He whacks it hard, like the ball against a bat in baseball. It isn't just enough to block your shot. He's looking to embarrass you.
And while it wasn't the biggest win streak of the season, the Nuggets did have a pretty good rampage of their own from the end of February into March. And because it happened when the Heat were doing what they were doing, the Nuggets kind of flew under the radar.
Well, as you said, the Nuggets put together their big 15-game winning streak. But, you know, Steve, since it happened, when the Heat rattled off their big push, nobody really even seemed to notice.
That's right. It might have worked out in their favor anyway, Kevin, because, you know, that win streak really kind of put them into high gear and allowed them to climb into the third spot in the West. Probably was nice not having the media focused on them and wanting to talk to them every day about what was happening in the Western Conference.
Denver calls timeout. The Nuggets trail by 16. Out to Chandler. Good ball movement here by the Nuggets. Gasol with the steal. Here's Johnson. The big dunk at the end of the break.
I love the aggressiveness with their approach, pounding the ball inside, and it's working.
They are owning this game early. They are constantly finding lanes to the basket.
It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Gets it to go.
Their offense has really come together immediately, threatening to run away with this game.
It's hard to imagine they'll be able to stay as hot as they've been so far, but if they can, watch out.
And way too many mistakes here in the early going.
Oh, you know, it's hard to watch because it seems like every trip down the floor, they're coughing the ball up.
Here's Farmar. Feeds it to Blake. Passes it to Gasol. Dishes to Farmar. Kicks to Blake. Johnson outside. There's the pass to Farmar. With 1 on the clock. And there's another one for the Lakers. They're going to turn it over. They couldn't get it inbounds that time. And that's it for the first quarter in what's been a very lopsided game.